Hello, my name is Jennifer Schultz. I am one of your instructors in the online Speech-Language Pathology Assistant program here at Mitchell Technical Institute. I want to take a few minutes today to introduce you to the program and give you some information about what you will be experiencing while you are enrolled in the SLPA program at MTI. Mitchell Technical Institute is a two-year college in Southeast South Dakota. Our mission is to provide skills for success in technical careers, one of which is speech-language pathology assisting. We have 30 on-campus programs across a wide range of disciplines and 7 online programs. Over the past recent years, we have achieved many awards, including being part of the Aspen Institute's top 150 two-year colleges for 3 years in a row. We've been ranked #1 in online associate's degree programs by bestcolleges.com for the last 2 years, and in 2016 we're ranked #2 in the list of best community colleges in the U.S. Let's take some time now to quickly meet some of the faculty and staff who you will work with at MTI. In the SLPA program, we have 2 full-time faculty members. Our department head and one of your online instructors is Mrs. Deb Flynn, and I am your other online instructor. I teach only online courses. Both of us have our master's degrees in speech-language pathology. We are certified by the American Speech-Language Hearing Association and licensed as speech-language pathologists in South Dakota. Other personnel at MTI include our president, Mr. Mark Wilson, our dean of academics, Carol Grody-Hanks. Those are the 2 top administrators who you might have a chance to be introduced to or learn more about or see messages from as you are a student at MTI. And then our director of student services is Mr. Scott Fossum. Mr. Scott Fossum is also going to serve as our student success coach for online students this year. So if you ever have concerns about what's happening in your online program or your ability to succeed as an online student, you will be in contact with Scott. Let's talk a little more now about how our online SLPA program works. If you ever took an online course maybe 5 or 10 years ago, you probably did something where maybe you watched a video, you read a book, you took a quiz, and you wrote a paper, and those were the types of coursework you did. But you will find that your coursework at MTI is much more interactive and hands-on than traditionally online learning had been in the past. Your primary tool for completing your coursework is our learning website called MyMTI. When you go to the top of the mitchelltech.edu page, you will find a link to MyMTI. When you click on it, you will land on a page that looks like this one at the bottom, and you will type in your username and your password to access your courses there. You will also have access to the help desk, which is the area at MTI that's going to help you out if you're having problems with technology, computer issues, issues with MyMTI or other tools. So you can submit a help desk ticket anytime you have issues with technology. You can do that by clicking on Help Desk in the Mitchell Tech website, or if you are in MyMTI, clicking on the Technology tab and then going down to Submit a Help Desk ticket. It's also important that you let your instructor know immediately if you're having issues with a specific course in MyMTI, or if you're having technology issues that might cause you to miss an assignment that's due. Because you are not on campus and you do not see your advisor on a daily or weekly basis, we make sure that we schedule at least 3 meetings per semester with your advisor. If you are a first-year in-state student, Mrs. Deb Flynn will be your advisor. If you are a second-year SLPA student, or when you are a second-year SLPA student, or if you are already living out of state, even as a first-year student, I will be your advisor. We will, as I said, have 3 meetings per semester. During these meetings, we will do things like review your program and course requirements compared to your current progress in the program. In the second advising meeting of the semester. We'll get you registered for the upcoming semester. And in all of your meetings, we'll deal with any questions or concerns that you or faculty or advisors might have. As I said, we can schedule additional meetings upon anyone's request that's involved in your education. And just ask that you kind of try to keep separate your advising from your course questions. So sometimes your advisor is going to be the same person as a course instructor. Other times it might be different. So if you have questions that are specific to a course, make sure you address those with the course instructor rather than with your advisor. Speaking of academic requirements, we do our best to make sure that you have an advisor who is helping you to stay on top of your requirements to make sure that you graduate on time and you complete your program successfully. However, it is your primary responsibility as the student to make sure that you're aware of the requirements you need to meet and how you're going to meet those. To that end, we have two tools that you should bookmark on the Mitchell Tech website under Academics. The first one is our general catalog that goes through program requirements and course descriptions. The second one is the MTI Student Handbook that outlines rules, policies, and procedures that you might need to access during your time as a student at Mitchell Tech. A few of the highlights about academic requirements are that you always need to earn at least a C in your SLPA courses to continue to enroll in higher level SLPA courses. Failing to receive a C in a course could result in a delay in your program as you wait for that course to be offered for you to retake it again the following semester. So fall courses are only offered in the fall, spring are only offered in the spring. So it could delay your progress up to a year if you receive a low grade in a course. You also need to have a cumulative GPA above 2.0 or at least a C average to continue in the program and to graduate from any program at MTI. Academic integrity is a concern for all post-secondary students and instructors. It can be trickier when you are an online student, and it is your responsibility to maintain academic integrity. Violating academic honesty or integrity principles are things like committing plagiarism or cheating on an assignment, and it can result in you receiving a 0 on that assignment, having to do a work improvement plan, maybe having to retake a course or receiving a failing grade in a course, and possibly being suspended from the program. So make sure you're aware of all of those principles of academic integrity, and we will introduce those to you in some of your coursework. One question that I am frequently asked is, how much time should I plan to spend in my courses? And this is a difficult question to answer. It depends so much on your background, how comfortable you are with academics, how comfortable you are with technology, and a variety of other factors. We do say that if you are enrolled in the 2-year program, it is a full-time program, so you should plan to spend full-time hours working on coursework. And when you think about credit hours, if you're in a 3-credit course, that's equivalent to spending 3 hours a week in the classroom if you were in a traditional on-campus program. And then we say that you should plan to spend 2 or 3 hours outside of class working on the coursework for that class. So that would be 9 to 12 hours per week for each class, each 3-credit class. Some people can do that with less time spent in that course and still be successful. Other people may need to go more toward that 12-hour time requirement. The Center for Student Success is housed in the Campus Center building on the MTI campus. All of the benefits and services that are available to our on-campus students are also available to you as an online student at MTI. The Center for Student Success has several student success coaches. Remember, Scott Fossum will be our student success coach, and we offer a variety of services including tutoring, disability services, assistance with research, or access to research database and advising services. There are also some clubs and lots of activities that are available to you as a student at MTI. I understand that most of you won't be traveling to campus for the fun activities that are offered, but know that if you need tutoring or other disability services, that you can access those through the Center for Student Success by going to the MTI website and clicking on Life at MTI and then finding the Student Success Center link. The SLPA courses are offered in a structured sequence. The program is designed to be completed full-time in 2 years, but we understand that sometimes online students have a variety of different commitments, including raising a family and possibly working full-time or part-time while they are also a student. So we do offer a 3-year completion track. I believe that you should all know if you're enrolled over 2 years or 3 years. If you're not sure of that, contact your advisor and find out. All of the SLPA courses are offered in either the fall or the spring semester. Your summer semesters you can spend to take time to catch up with family, or if you need to complete some of your general education class requirements. One thing that I need to make sure everybody is aware of at the beginning of this program is that in addition to your online coursework, your final 8 weeks of the program are going to be spent in a live full-time placement in field work, working under the direct supervision of a licensed certified speech language pathologist near your area. That means that if you have a job that has daytime hours, you're going to need to have 8 weeks off from that job to complete your field work placement. We don't have options to complete this during the summer because traditionally SLPAs work in schools and your placement is just about 100% guaranteed to be in a school. And schools are not in session during the summer, and you won't have a cohort to do this during summer or fall sessions. We don't offer the fieldwork course during the summer or fall, so it needs to be done in the last half of your spring semester. To know specifically which courses you've successfully completed or have transfer credit for and which courses you still need to complete, in My MTI, go to your Student tab, click on Course Needs, and then find your advising worksheet. Each one of your online SLPA courses has the material set up in weekly units. So each unit or each course is going to have units that start and stop on different days of the week. We designed it this way so that you don't have all of your assignments and all of your tests due on the same day. I think that would be very overwhelming. So if you look at the chart at the top of this page, you'll see that the course numbers go from lower numbers. Let me back up there. Lower numbers to higher numbers, with the exception of SSS 101, which is your online seminar course. So that can help you kind of keep straight SLPA 101 on Monday, 04 on Tuesday, and so on. So kind of keep that in mind. You might want to jot that down right now so that you remember when assignments are typically due. A couple of exceptions to this: test due dates are typically different than coursework due dates. So let's say that Unit 1 for SLPA 101 ends on a Monday, then we're going to give you about 3 days, and the test for that class is probably going to be due then on Thursday. Another exception is discussion forums. Sometimes discussion forum assignments have an initial post that is due earlier in the week, and then a due date where you will respond, or by which time you will respond to your course mates. So maybe your initial post was due on Tuesday, and then your final post is due on Friday. There are some important dates for you to keep in mind. 10 days after the start of every semester is our drop add date. So you can drop classes by that date and receive a full refund. So if somebody is, for example, enrolled as a full-time student to complete in 2 years, and you realize that you're not going to be able to handle that course load, you could drop a class to get down to that 3-year plan, and you could receive a full refund for that course that you dropped. Um, Withdrawing from a course, hopefully nobody ever needs to do this, but sometimes you get into a course and you realize you're not going to earn the grade you want to earn, or something has come up in your life that makes it not possible for you to complete all of the coursework you have on your load at that time. So you will watch, and I will bring this up to you as an advisor and a course instructor, but later in the semester, you will find out about a W date, and that's the last day to withdraw from the course and not receive a grade in it. So it'll be on your transcript with a W on it, and it won't count toward your GPA, and then you can try that course again later. Online coursework due dates are not affected by holidays. So when Labor Day comes up on a Monday, your SLPA 101 course assignments will still be due on that date. So make sure that you don't look at um, those holidays and think you don't have assignments due because it's a holiday. We're still honoring those same due dates. Similarly, if we have a snow day at Mitchell and the campus is closed, I'm generally still working on snow days online, and your assignments are still due on that same day. To find out what's going on at MTI and when it's happening, you have an events calendar, and this is on your home page in My MTI. In addition to your online coursework, you will also practice hands-on skills for speech-language pathology assisting. If you are in South Dakota, you will do that at one of 5 different regional lab sites that we have set up. Our lab instructors are listed here, and these individuals are licensed and certified speech-language pathologists who will teach you how to complete these hands-on skills and then later validate your ability to perform those skills before you go into field work. If you are living outside of South Dakota and you are not close enough to one of these lab sites to travel to a lab, we will assist you to locate a person that we will call your cooperating SLP. This person will be a licensed or state certified speech language pathologist who lives near you, who we will give access to some training materials, who can teach you how to complete your hands-on skills. I can tell you that speech language pathologists are a very giving group, and they love to work with students, so we do not have any difficulties finding cooperating SLPs for our out-of-state students. I'll also tell you now that sometimes people come into the course or the program and they're a little bit maybe intimidated by having to do the hands-on work or travel to regional labs, and without a doubt, those regional labs are one of the best parts that people experience in this online program. So it's something that I hope you're looking forward to. Just a little more information about those labs. You are required to attend and participate in 3 labs per semester. Specific courses have specific assignments that go with each lab, and I will provide that information to you as well as Mrs. Flynn before you're expected to go to a lab. If for some reason something unavoidable happens and it's absolutely not possible for you to make it to your assigned lab on that lab date, make sure that you notify both your course instructors and your lab instructor that you have to be absent from that lab. We have multiple lab locations, so in South Dakota you will be able to attend that same lab many times in an alternate location. So not quite as convenient for you in terms of travel, but still you're able to earn the grade for that lab. Opportunities to make up missed labs are at the discretion of course instructors. So it is imperative that you get to your assigned lab when it is scheduled, and you are not relying on us to give you other makeup work to make up those labs. We typically do not do that. In your first semester and second semester, when you were taking SLPA 101 and 111, your lab grades are participation grades. So your role at a regional lab or when working with a cooperating SLP is to ask questions, to watch, to learn, and participate. When you get into your higher level courses, primarily during your second year of the program, you will then be demonstrating your competence with those same skills that you watched during your first labs. We also understand that sometimes people get partway into a program and they decide that this program isn't for them or they're not going to be able to complete it for some reason. Because of that, we offer you the opportunity to obtain some additional credentials during your program. The Department of Labor has the National Career Readiness Certificate, and South Dakota has a paraprofessional certification examination. If you decide that you probably aren't going to be completing the SLPA program or completing it during this go at it, we can assist you to schedule certification examinations while you are a student in the SLPA program. And we'll offer you more information about this later in the fall. Because you're in an online program, it's probably not a surprise that you will use a lot of technology. So let's talk a little bit now about those tools. Make sure that you have looked at the computer requirements in your online student manual. You should have received that in the mail, and if you have not, let me know and we'll make sure you get a copy of it. You must have a computer that meets the computer requirements. One of the things I've heard from students in the past is that some of them did not have an up-to-date or a newer computer, and they tried to kind of hobble through that first semester, and it caused them difficulties. You can imagine you're accessing all of your coursework on the computer. Make sure that what you have meets the requirements and is up to date. You also need to have a reliable high-speed internet connection. We do a fair amount of video work and video conferencing, and you need to have a backup plan. So sometimes your internet might be out at home. Make sure that you know where the nearest library is or friend or family member's house is where you can access internet. A webcam is necessary. Most of you probably have a laptop computer with an integrated webcam. If not, you can purchase a separate webcam. We use Microsoft Office, and you have free access to Microsoft Office Professional 2016, which also includes the teleconferencing tool Skype for Business. So you can go to the Technology tab in MyMTI and download Microsoft Office Professional for free. You will have a license for it while you are a student at MTI. We recommend that you use the Chrome internet browser, so you can just Google Chrome and download that browser. It works best with MyMTI. You are required to have an iPad, and we will give you lists of apps that you will need for each course. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And just also want you to be aware that our IT services don't have support available for Macintosh computers. We are a PC school. As I just mentioned, you are required to have an iPad. iPad technology is used significantly in education and in speech language pathology services. So we will be building this iPad as a career tool throughout your program. In most of your courses, you will have assignments to build up files of apps for particular disorders and skills that you'll be working on with students. Sometimes you will need to have paid apps, but we will provide you with free temporary licenses for any paid apps that are required. So if on a syllabus you see that there's a paid app required, don't purchase that. Wait until you need the app, and the course instructor will give you information for how to download that temporarily to your iPad. Your lectures and discussions most of the time in your SLPA courses are going to be delivered through a cloud-based tool called VoiceThread. You will be able to access these VoiceThread discussions in your MyMTI courses, and in your first week in SLPA 101, there is a video that introduces you to the VoiceThreads found in your Resources tab in that course. So don't worry about this. You'll find that it is an extremely interactive tool and really makes learning kind of come alive. That sounds so cliche, but it does make us more interactive and get to know each other better. So excellent tool that we'll be using in your courses. Also be aware that your participation in these voice threads is graded in many of your SLPA courses. It's equivalent to your attendance at your courses. I mentioned earlier that you will be using Skype for Business. You do not need to download this separately. When you download Microsoft Office from the Technology tab, Skype for Business is included in that. We'll get that set up pretty early in your program here. We use teleconferencing a lot. Not only do we use it for advising meetings, if you should find that you want to take advantage of our tutoring services, you will use Skype for Business. Also, teletherapy or telepractice is a significant part of what is happening in school-based speech-language pathology. These are services where the service provider, like the SLPA, might be at one location and the student or client is at another location, and you interact through a tool like Skype for Business. So we'll learn how to do that during your program. Finally, we use Microsoft Outlook for email, so you should have that downloaded to your computer. SpeechPathology.com is a web-based continuing education tool for SLPs and SLPAs. We have a subscription for you to SpeechPathology.com. It is paid for by MTI. Do not pay for a SpeechPathology.com subscription yourself. Later on, we will provide you with login information for SpeechPathology.com. Along with SpeechPathology.com, the same company has a tool called SimuCase, and this involves the use of computer avatars of real live people who have communication disorders. You will have the opportunity to play these cases and to learn the skills of speech-language pathology assisting as you play them. So very interactive and fun, kind of like video games for speech-language pathology assisting. Trajexis is our online clinical record keeping system. Again, your subscription for this is paid by MTI. I will provide you with the registration instructions in SLPA 101 soon. We use this tool throughout your program to track your participation in lab activities, to allow your lab instructor or cooperating SLP to grade your lab demonstrations, and for you to log observation and fieldwork hours. Finally, we have TheraSimplicity. This is a website that speech-language pathologists and assistants can subscribe to. They offer free access to students and faculty members. So later this semester, I will provide you with login information and you will view a training video. This really is equivalent, or is the online equivalent to a materials library for an SLPA. So if you were in an on-campus program, you would have decks of cards and workbooks and games and other materials that you could use in therapy sessions. And online, we have all of those types of tools available for you to use either on your computer screen or to save and print off so that you have materials to use as an SLPA student. One final word about technology is make sure that you are keeping track of all of your login names and your passwords. Find one place where you can write these down so that you can look back if you would forget them. We all know how many different requirements there are for how you formulate passwords for different sites, so it can be confusing. Make sure you write them down. I want to end with some suggestions from the people who have gone through this program and have made it work. These are the gals who were in our first graduating class in the online program at MTI, the gals who made it to graduation, who were close by. And they have just a lot of good information. Make sure that you've got a dedicated space that's quiet for you to complete your coursework. Whenever you create something for an assignment, make sure you keep it because you will be able to use that later on in fieldwork and in your career. You do need to be prepared to work hard. This is not a program where you're going to log in once a week, contribute one comment to a discussion, read a chapter, and take a quiz. You will be doing more than that in this program. Make sure that you're communicating with me, Mrs. Flynn, and any of your general education instructors consistently. We don't know if you're struggling until you tell us that you're having problems with something. So we don't don't see your frustration on your face if you're having trouble understanding like we would if you were in a classroom. You really have to be more assertive and let us know. Writing is extremely important in any college program, and because we specialize in communication, it's extremely important for you as an SLPA. So past students have said you guys need to make sure that you know how to write like a college student and that you cite sources anytime you use information from another site. Plagiarism is something you do not want to get caught with. Some more suggestions: make sure you keep ahead of assignments and you stay organized. Online courses, we often say, are convenient because you can access materials at the time of day that works best for you, but they can also be more difficult than going to class every day. You don't have people right there that you're going to bounce ideas off of or overhear somebody talking about something. Make sure to that end then that you are talking to the people who are in your classes. Reach out to your course mates by email or phone, get to know them, and provide a support network for each other. Another tip that you might not think of is that you make sure you take that first year of classes very seriously. Sometimes our introductory courses maybe aren't quite as difficult as the second year courses, but some of our past students have said they definitely laid the foundation for the rest of their program. We talked about supporting each other, lots of resources that I talked about today, so make sure that you're taking advantage of those and don't give up on yourself or your advisor or your course mates or your course instructor. We're all here to help each other through this program. You should have an online student manual. Let me know if you do not have that. We also have an online SLPA student manual that's specific to this program. You'll find that in the resources for your 101 course. And as I said earlier, make sure you bookmark the general catalog and the student handbook so that you have access to those. So that is it. You will have access to this video throughout your first semester in your SLPA 101 course, so you can come back to it if you have questions later on. I hope everybody is looking forward to a fantastic year of learning together. I know I'm looking forward to meeting all of you and finding out about you and what has brought you to the SLPA program. Have a great day.